What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Out of the Gate here. Another week of live racing right here at Parx Racing in beautiful Bensalem, Pennsylvania. A little bit chilly outside this week, so keep an eye on the conditions. But we got a fast main track as we get into some of the live racing. We'll have that coming up for you a little bit later on. We got some great interviews. We've got another day in the life segment coming your way as well. But let's start with a quick look back and take a look at some of last week's winner. It's the Parx Playback.
Parx Playback, here we go. On Monday, this replay could be in slow motion, like one of those video montages in Baywatch. And it's the number 8 Saddle Towel Beach Bandit draws away late for the score. Jockey Angel Castillo was looking at a map through the stretch. Let's go here. No, let's go there. No, like a well-skilled cartographer. He drops over to the rail, and Cartouche gets up in time. This was a big-time race and some class relief. The big horse tips towards the outside and passes rivals late. Ron Dandy trains the mare, who was ridden by Edwin Rivera. Her name is Lulas Roadrunner. Tuesday action. Hey, Ma, meatloaf. Ma, the meatloaf. You want to stay for some meatloaf? All right, let's get some meatloaf. Captain Chazz. He's doing his thing as he holds off all rivals trying to crash the party. America's Pastime Stables with the baseball-inspired silks, and it's a long drive through the stretch to deep stretch. He's going way up top. Distract and Attack is gone. Rounds all the turns in dominating style. Time for Wednesday, Starship Rogue. Sounds like the next Star Wars movie. The Force is strong with this one. Courtney Gilardo with a 30-1 upset. Watch our interview with the young Jedi on our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. Grammar Police, it was Cash is King, LC Racing, trainer Butch Reed, jockey Frankie Pennington, and a beautiful debut by the son by Empire Maker. That was like 5 commas, but 3, Glenn might be a 3-year-old to keep your eye on. And in what was the race of the week, 3 horses in the stretch, Ruby Blue, Divine Miracle, and Skipin On Orchard. An absolute throwdown in the stretch with top jockeys Ruben Silvera, Frankie Pennington, and Kendrick Carmouche. Skipin On Orchard in the final jump for trainer Howard. Everyone calls him Roger Brown. Have a great week.
And that was a look back at some of the winners right here at Parx. We get into race number 1, a mile and 70 yards, $10,000 claiming race in today's first. Kicks off that early pick 4. Going to go with the number 7, Malibu Anthem. I think this horse trips out really nicely in here. Outside draw, has some pace to chase. Depends on how far back the horse is going to be. We did see some closers having some real opportunities here last week. We'll see if that does continue. I think there is plenty of speed to set things up. And this horse also comes out of that starter handicap race and back into the $10,000 level. Maybe just in a little bit too tough last time for trainer Ruperto Perez, Luis Rivera. They're going to team up with Malibu Anthem, who had won 4 races in a row going into that 8th place finish. Finished behind Miss Loyalty and Miss Dillingham. And guess what? We're going to talk about them right now. Race number 2 on the card, starter allowance race in there. Mile and 70 yards, and we'll take a look at this replay here coming up in just a moment. But Miss Dillingham, the number 5, is going to be the top choice. I'm kind of interested to see what happens from a price standpoint as far as what Miss Dillingham is going to end up being on the board. But you take a look at this horse coming out of this March 9th effort as we go ahead and show you that replay. This horse is going to end up finishing 2nd in this race, but let's really take a look at this stretch run. Here's Miss Dillingham. They went 48-3 for a half-mile time. She really had plenty of company up front. Now she's going to try and kick away. You saw the conditions. Obviously, we caught a lot of weather that day. Miss Loyalty is down here towards the inside, and very shortly here we're going to freeze this, and you're going to see it. Miss Dillingham here in between horses. Miss Loyalty down at the rail. The one thing I want to point out here is, remember, that was a starter handicap race, so you had some weight differential in there. Miss Dillingham, she's carrying 126 that afternoon. Miss Loyalty, who's going to end up winning that race, is carrying 117. Today, they're going to carry 124, Miss Loyalty, 121 for Miss Dillingham. And so as we get ready to roll the rest of the tape, you're going to see what the finish is and that margin of victory. And basically, when you see that margin of victory, you say, okay, now we switch the weights up a little bit. Miss Dillingham catches a fast track this afternoon. And it's a bit more of a compact field, so she's not going to be as wide. She had a real far outside draw, had to work out the right trip going around 2 turns. Miss Dillingham is the choice. I'm going to split them, though. I'm going to put 2 Marie in the 2nd position and round out the try there with Miss Loyalty. Hey, we got a chance to catch up with some of the jockeys, and we had to ask them, which do you prefer, burgers or pizza?
Burgers. Burgers, always. Burger. Pizza. ¿Qué te gusta más? Pizza. ¿El pizza? Pizza. Burger with bacon. Man, if I'm on a diet, just pizza. If I'm not, both.
Pizza. Pizza. Pizza.
Man, I love a good burger. I got to be a burger guy, but pizza, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. Race number 3, 6 furlongs of distance here. Starter allowance again. You take a look at this race. Number 6, Dilly Dilly Philly, right outside some of the main rivals. This is a competitive race. Don't take too short of a price, but you do get Jamie Ness here on a horse that ran into some trouble last time out. If you take a look at that stretch run, Miss Canella, who ended up being disqualified, drifted way out in the stretch, and that did hinder Dilly Dilly Philly a little bit in that spot. So we'll see what happens there. 6-5-2. I do go on the favorite, but Fleeter Than, the number 5, she'll be rounding out the exacta. She's got a big shot in there, especially at a touch of a price. Race number 4, 6.5 furlongs, 7,500 non-2. Far outside draw here for the number 12 in here, and that's going to be Make a Joyful Noise. Now, I will say this. She's been settling for seconds, but she's taken a pretty significant drop in class. From the optional 16 down to the $7,500 level, this drop makes a lot of sense for her in this spot as her numbers have kind of dropped just a touch. If she gets back to that run behind above the limit last start out, I think she will be a most likely winner in a big full field there to round out your early pick 4. Race number 5 as we continue on, and we're going to take a look at that 1.70 optional 40 in here. Another competitive race on the card. You take a look at the 3-year-olds in here as they square off. Smarten Up. I mean, Smarten Up comes out of the City of Brotherly Love Stakes. Yes, it was a compact field. Had a really long stretch drive there with Twisted Ride, who had that easy pace up front. Smarten Up comes back in here. Trevor McCarthy in for the ride, named to ride here on the number 5 Smarten Up. I thought one more score is pretty interesting as well, but this is a nice race here at this optional 40, $42,000 purse. Some competitive 3-year-olds, and we can see where they continue on the rest of this season. We got a chance to catch up with an apprentice rider right here at Parx. We've got quite a few competitive apprentice jockeys right here in Parx, but today we followed Courtney Gilardo. This is a day in the life with jockey Courtney Gilardo.
Courtney Gilardo is an emerging apprentice jockey here at Parx Racing. What's it like to be a rider 7 days a week? This is a day in the life of Courtney Gilardo.
Well, I grew up in Suffolk Downs Racetrack where my father was a jockey there for 30 plus years. And I remember when I was like 7 and I would go watch training and watch him ride, and I knew right then I wanted to be a jockey. Oh, my dad's crazy. He's a kid at heart. He loves what he does. He still gallops at Penn National for Bernie Houghton. Loves his job, and he's really supportive, so I'm happy. When my family moved from Suffolk, we moved to Penn National. I was about 13. I worked for a couple trainers, hot walking, grooming, worked my way up, and then when I was about 16, I started breaking babies for George Albright. And so I galloped there for a couple years, and then I actually got an opportunity to go to New York and work for Brad Cox. So I galloped there in Saratoga for a little bit in Belmont. It was great. I learned a lot. Great group there. Then I worked for George Weaver and Rudy Rodriguez.
With East Coast roots and living a couple hours away, Courtney Gilardo wakes up pretty early to start her day.
A typical day for me, I'm up 4:30 the latest. Got to get early on the road, live 2 hours out, so it's pretty early.
An apprentice jockey is busy in the mornings with a little bit of help.
That's why you have a good agent. My agent does a good job. He'll kind of set everything up the day before. Sometimes we'll get people last minute. We'll set up breezes if people want you to get on, test out their horse, whether it's to jog, feel them, gallop. I like to know my horses. So if you have it set up, I'll already know what barns I'm going through, so I would say get those done. I'll check in with the trainers, they'll let me know what they want to do, or the assistants if they're in charge and stuff like that. They'll tell me, hey, breeze this horse, and then you'll get on them, and then some trainers want you to know how they went, and you just talk to them, and then after that, after I'm done getting on my horses, I'll check with other barns that I didn't get to see that day or didn't schedule and go from there. Got on a few for Ed Coletti. That's usually my main barn to get on, ride for him a lot. We'll check with other ones, Dane Velasquez, and we'll just go through the runs with everyone.
Getting on horses in the morning teaches a new lesson each time.
It's great, horses are like people. Sometimes you just got to feel them out and try to work with them the best you can. I actually kind of like the difficult ones. I can take my time on and just, be patient with them and just try to see what they're comfortable running with, if they're speed, if they're not. So I like to figure them out. It definitely helps getting to know them because then you can kind of know their quirks, see what they like. It can be a little harder if you never were on a horse in the morning and then you ride it in the afternoon, because sometimes it takes a little bit to figure out if they are a type of horse that needs that. Some horses are just pretty easy.
How would Courtney Gilardo explain a breeze?
So a breeze is kind of like, we like to call it like a practice race. Kind of just like gets them prepped for the actual races. It just lets them know their fitness levels, how they are. If you have like a young horse that's, you know, you want to go through the breezes, you start off short distance and you go longer and longer until you think they're ready.
After training, then the focus moves to the afternoon and race day.
So from after morning training, you kind of just want to like wind down. It's kind of hard to do, your adrenaline's going. But you know, we'll try to take like a nap before the races if you can. But definitely go over your programs again, check everything, see, kind of have a vision of a plan A, maybe a plan B, and then just go from there. You know, when you go into the paddock, I feel like that's where it kind of hits you. You know, if you get a little nervous or you're nervous, like I'm mostly excited. You talk to the trainers, see if you both are on the same page. Obviously, you want to go based on what they say, kind of have a backup in case it doesn't work out. Once the gates open, it's just like, it's peaceful actually. Like, it's just like, okay, do your job.
When you hit the wire first, what's that feeling like?
It's just excitement, you know, you feel great. I get so excited because I try so hard on every horse, you know, and it's just awesome. I'm just thankful.
How does the day wrap up for apprentice jockey Courtney Gilardo?
I'll try to like eat something earlier, try like before 7 o'clock, drive home, and then just kind of like relax and go back to bed early, then start the day over.
That's right. You can catch all that great coverage, as always, right on the YouTube channel there. Special thank you again to the connections there on the backside, and also to apprentice jockey Courtney Gilardo for letting us hang out and get out there in the morning. Great work, as always, by the best TV crew in the business right here at Parx Racing. And how about this? We're over 200 subscribers now on that YouTube channel, so thank you, the fans out there, for getting involved. What's the next kind of goal? I gotta say 500. I think 500 is kind of the next number that we shoot for. So tell your friends and family, hit that subscribe, get on the YouTube channel. We got those replays. Parx Fanatics will be coming your way. We got a great set of more questions coming your way. More episodes a day in the life. We hung out with Halim Lee as well. I mean, just so many things that you can check out on the brand new YouTube channel. So make sure that you watch those videos, but also hit that subscribe. Let's take a look at race number 6. It kicks off the Philly Big 5 here with 10 races on the card. You get into the last 5 in the sequence, fast main track. Boca Royalty, the number 9 to the outside. I would love to get 7-2. I think the price might come down a little bit. But look, you take a look at this horse, second beaten 3+ lengths in the last race. She's my risen star, had a big effort that afternoon. You take a look at some of the fractions. They didn't go too fast up front, but it seemed like Boca Royalty just kind of ran her race, and she's been pretty consistent outside of that 8th at the $15,000 level. She's not running for $15,000 this afternoon. She's running for $5,000 in here, so she takes that drop in class. 7-year-old mare that has 2 wins at the distance. And you take a look at some of the other rivals in this race, it just seems like at this $5,000 class level, they just have not been able to get the job done. So I thought Fairy Wish had warranted some of a long shot chance in here at the $10,000 level. 2 starts back, this horse actually ran well. Second at just under 25 to 1. You take a look at, you know, with that mile and 70-yard race, now cutting back in distance here to the 6 furlongs and sprinting. The 9-8 exacted with the 2 outside runners, and we'll keep an eye on, you know, if those outside draws are doing well, that would be a pretty healthy exact, I think, in that spot. So Boca Royalty, I think she's a bit more of a standout there than you see on paper in that race. Race number 7, this is a real competitive field as well. You get into the maiden special weights here for the state breds, for the fillies, 5.5 furlongs. Bellalino has been extremely impressive in one lifetime start. She's a 3-year-old filly that was just over 5 to 1 in her debut. She showed early speed, went 46-1 for a half-mile time. She ends up losing late to Fancy Philly. We're going to show that race replay on the live show. Argentina Girl finished 3rd in that race. She came back to win a race around 2 turns. So Bellalino had some time off. Randy Allen has proven that, you know, he'll be patient with some of his runners, making sure that they're ready to get into some of these spots. He's okay with being a little bit patient and then getting them back in there and putting them in a spot where it looks like they can be a likely winner. She's 9-2 on the morning line. We'll see how she comes back, but I thought she was really impressive. And then look at the number, 61 to 180 days for trainer Randy Allen. Hitting at 30% from 10 starters, 3 out of 10, a pretty good clip there. Race number 8, mile and 70 yards. You take a look at an optional 40 in here. Another tough race in the sequence. This is a nice card here on a Monday afternoon, so hopefully you're joining us for the wagering action. Number 5, Kidnapped. Throw out that last effort. 6 beaten 22. That was sprinting at Gulfstream Park. Now comes back up here to Parx, goes the 2-turn distance. We'll see what happens there with the 5 Kidnap. It does look like there's some speed to set it up. Rex Kwon Do is going to move quickly. Maximus Aurelius is coming off of a runaway win, wins by 12 lengths, but now comes back over here to Parx after that run at Penn. We'll see how the horse matches up at a shorter price. I like the 5. It looks like a pretty wide open race in that 8th, to be honest with you. We'll see what happens there. It's a start of another sequence as we get into the late pick 3 with 10 races on the card. We got a performance of the week to take a look at. This was trainer Leslye Bouchard, who continues to do nice work here in the 2022 season, and her runner, 1000%, was our performance of the week. Pete there with the music. Pete Pinnell, always bringing the music right here for the performance of the week. And we take a look at this 9th race coming up as well. And, you know, for me, Obstinate, I think if the horse comes back to this last race, this horse has got a shot. I mean, Frankie Pennington will be back aboard. We're going to take a look at a replay of this run, and we'll do that in just a second. Wins by 6 lengths, 5-year-old mare by Tiz Now. She just really improved off of some of those moves. They claimed the horse for 16. Then they got in that mile race second behind Elusive Amelia, who was a nice runner that afternoon. Then ran against Back Channel at 7 furlongs. Maybe that was a little bit too short for her. Went back to the 2 turns. And this 5-year-old mare, I think she stands a real big shot. 4-1 on the morning line, a really interesting price in here. Is 0 for 9 at the distance, but watch this last effort here from Obstinate. We're going to catch these runners as they get set to enter the stretch. Is right up here on the outside. Is stalking off of a 7:01, you know, front runner in here, was 7-5 that day. So obviously Obstinate did what she was supposed to do in this spot, but I thought she finished off nicely, just kind of staying to her task, draws away late. Remember Scott Lake, he's claimed horses. Sweet Wilhelmina comes to mind. She's a mare or a filly that you think about. Claims, goes on a run. Could Obstinate be that type of horse? Is now in a protected spot here this afternoon. This is a competitive field at the optional 16, but she makes a lot of sense in here. I will be pretty interested to see what the price ends off going off at, because, you know, you take a look at Tonal Vision. Caddy LaBelle's got early speed. Nurturing, who you just saw finish second in that race, was a well-beaten second, beaten 6. Solid Gold Dancer, she's got speed down towards the inside. Tilsa is always going to be that late running type in there. And then Dancing Kiki is a real interesting runner towards the outside. I will say again, this is before scratches and changes, so I'm not sure, you know, if we've covered some of the horses that are not going to be running this afternoon, but I'll get those scratches and changes up for you very shortly. But that is pretty much going to conclude another episode, and I think I'm way under, so now I just get to fill a little bit of time here on Out of the Gate. But want to thank everybody again for getting involved in the wagering action. Don't forget, we added Saturdays to the cards going through the summer as we get into the month of May. Added those 5 Saturdays. We've got our big day of racing coming up on September 24th, Derby and Cotillion Day as well. As you take a look at the Cool Shirt Monday, make sure you're wearing your cool shirt out there. Yes, this is an actual score. If you were wondering, it was that one time when I just had a feeling I got the word right. And once in a while it can happen. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels right here at Parx. We've added some new ones as well. We've got the Facebook, we've got the Instagram, we've got on Twitter, and we've got on YouTube. You'll see all of those great handles coming up here. But there you go. Follow us at Parx Racing, at In the Grandstand, that's me. Then click on that subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. And that Instagram, it's brand new. Head on over to Instagram. You can always see some of our videos, some of our great images. Parx_racing. All kinds of great racing action coming up. We got 11 on Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 races coming at you this afternoon. Looking forward to bringing some guests back in the booth. That's it for Out of the Gate.